Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kassandra and this here is Luna, and we are going to take you through a vinyasa flow sequence that is really intended to help you clear away brain fog. So this is for mental clarity and focus. I like to think of this as like a diamond mind, really sharpening your senses. And we're going to be doing a lot of different types of balancing poses in this practice. So definitely more of an intermediate yoga sequence. Balancing poses, like I mentioned, we're also going to integrate the breath of joy, pranayama technique, and just some all around feel good poses that help to really sharpen your senses and get you thinking a little bit more, so that if you are feeling a little bit foggy or a little bit lethargic, hopefully by the end of the practice you'll be feeling like a whole new person. I'm not using any props for this class. If you have a block at home, you might want to have it close by. Don't worry if you don't have any props, it's not necessary. So let's begin with a short seated meditation to really anchor ourselves in. Sit any way that you are comfortable. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and just close your eyes. Close your eyes so that you can bring your focus inward. And we're using this time to do a little bit of a scan, mentally tuning in, maybe from the crown of your head, working your way down through your limbs to your extremities. Just checking in to notice what feelings are present, which areas of your body feel maybe open and spacious, which feel a little bit more closed off or tight. And really anything else that you might notice as you practice mindfulness and really paying attention. This is part of our practice for clarity, is simply paying attention. So take about 10 more breaths here. And we'll take 3 cleansing breaths before we start to flow. So you're going to inhale through the nose and let out a big sigh, exhale through the mouth 3 times. Two more. Once more. Opening the eyes, let's find our way to tabletop pose for a few rounds of cat and cow. Spread your fingers wide, push into your fingertips and knuckles. And as you inhale, drop your belly, a little back bend here as you open through your chest. Exhale, round through your spine, draw your lower belly in, and just keep going in and out of those 2 poses. And as much as possible throughout this practice, see if you can flow with your eyes closed. And I know, of course, this isn't always possible, seeing as this is an online yoga class and you need to tune in sometimes to check what I'm doing. But if you are comfortable at times, just try to close your eyes and notice where you feel sensation in your body. just developing other senses. A great way to increase our mental focus. So one more round of cat and cow. Inhale, drop the belly, curl tailbone up. Exhale, reverse, round and contract. And now come to a neutral tabletop pose. We're going to come into a thread the needle variation, adding a balancing pose by stretching out the leg. So you're going to thread your right arm underneath you, shoulder and ear come down to the floor, and then you're going to straighten your left arm. I like to just come up onto my fingertips. You can always have your hand flat to the floor. Maybe you'd like to stay here, or you can add on by straightening the left leg back and maybe lifting it up. So you really do need to focus here. Totally fine if you roll over and fall. Happens to me all the time, no big deal. But try to keep breathing even as you do this, pulling your lower belly in, keeping your gaze steady, finding that drishti point, that point of focus. And let's bring our left knee back down, bring that left hand back in, push to lift up, and we'll go and repeat this over on the other side. So left arm goes underneath you, right hand extends, so right arm is straight, maybe up on your fingertips or palm flat, and then you can straighten your right leg, keep the internal hip rotation of that right thigh as you lift the leg up. And try to feel the energy go all the way out through your big right toe. So you have one straight diagonal line. Right knee comes back down, nice and slow, ease your way out of it. And let's find our first downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk your hands out in front of you and go ahead and lift your hips up and back. Stretching out here in this downward facing dog. Still pushing into your fingertips and your knuckles. I want you to really feel your head dropping here and your lower belly hugging in towards your lower back. Coming into your ragdoll fold, you can walk your feet forward towards the top of the mat, maybe widening your stance a little here. You can bend your knees as much as you want, holding onto your elbows. You can sway a little side to side. Inversions can be a great type of pose to help increase our alertness, to help wake us up. And while we're here, we'll take those same 3 rounds of cleansing breath, like what we were doing at the beginning of class, inhaling through the nose, big exhale out the mouth. Last one. Release your hands down, bend your knees even more, and push your heels into the floor to roll all the way up, inch by inch, and lifting up tall. So we're going to move into breath of joy, a few rounds of that, and this is a really energizing breathing technique. It's done in a few parts. So I'll just demonstrate it first. You're going to do inhale, 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 and then a big exhale as you lower down out the mouth. So it'll go just like that. So kind of building on to that cleansing breath that we've been doing, and we'll do this 5 times. So whenever you're ready, last one. And stay down. Little ragdoll fold again here. And I'll just turn so I'm facing the front of my mat again. And we're all going to step back into our downward facing dog. Stretching it out here. From our downward dog, go ahead and lift your right leg up towards the sky, and you can bend your right knee to open up your hip. And building onto this, see if you can come up onto your right fingertips. So really working with asymmetry in this practice. It forces us to really be mindful, to pay attention to what we're doing, to focus. And now ground your right hand to the floor. You're going to step your right foot forward between your palms, lifting up, coming into our eagle pose. So you can transition with your hands at your heart, and you're going to wrap your left thigh over your right, maybe just binding once, or you can loop the toes back as well. Elbows bent in front of you at a 90-degree angle. You're going to wrap your left arm under, maybe also wrapping through the forearms and wrists. So both knees should be bent. You're hugging into the midline. And imagine you're looking past and through your forearms, through your wrists. Try not to dig your toes in the mat. You're going to keep the eagle arms and transition into warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So you're going to lift that left leg up and back as you tilt your chest forward, roughly going parallel to the ground. Try to find that inner stability, as if you were pushing against the wall behind you. Into your mountain pose, lift up, release, shake it out. Should feel really nice to let that go from your right leg. And just close your eyes in mountain. Tadasana, shining your palms forward. Feet are about hip-width distance apart. Regulating your breath rhythm again here. And with your eyes closed, I want you to shift all of your body weight into the balls of your feet so that you're leaning forward. And then shift the weight all the way over to the right. So you're leaning to the right. Go all the way back into your heels. A lot harder to do. And then all the way over towards the left. And now find that middle point between those 4 extremities. And this is your true center of gravity and point of balance. Let's take a vinyasa, a sun salutation from here so we can repeat on the other side. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, flat back, lengthen. And then plant your palms, step back to plank pose. It's our first one, so I'm just going to lower all the way to my belly, coming into Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Downward facing dog. Stretching it out in downward dog. So we can repeat our sequence on the second side. This time, left leg lifts up. Bend your left knee and open up your left hip. And you can also come up onto your left fingertips. So intentionally unbalancing ourselves in these poses. Flatten out your left hand, and we're going to step that left foot through. We're coming into our eagle pose, Garudasana. So just start to lift your upper body up. Bring your hands together at your heart. Make it easier for you to balance. And then you're going to wrap your right thigh over your left and maybe loop the toes behind you as well. Draw your lower belly in, lengthen tailbone down. And this time your right arm will wrap under the left, binding once or twice. So my shoulders are down, my elbows are up, and my hands are moving away from me. Transitioning into warrior three. Keep your arms as they are. Right leg extends back. Try to keep that right hip rotating down. I know that's very challenging. Keeping your gaze steady. Into Tadasana, mountain pose, all the way up. Release, shake it out. So feet hip width distance apart. Close your eyes. And now go ahead and rock all of your body weight into your heels. So leaning back. All the way to the left. Forward into the balls of your feet. Over to the right. And back to neutral in the center. Let's take our flow. Inhale, arms rise. Fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Plank pose. Maybe lowering to chaturanga this time and taking upward facing dog for your back bend. Meeting in downward dog. So from here, right leg lifts up. You can keep it straight and squared. We're coming into our warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. So right foot steps between the hands. Back foot spins parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Arms extend out. So my right knee here is bending and trying to push open towards my little toe. And we're going to move in and out here. So we're going to inhale, straightening the front leg, hands up together, looking up. And then exhale, bending and sinking deeper into it. 4 more just like this. Pushing evenly into both feet. 2 more. Last one. And settling in a little bit deeper. Now go ahead and straighten that front leg and narrow your stance a little bit so you can kind of walk that back foot in or bring that front foot back a little bit, whatever is easiest to you, into your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Hips go back, lean that right arm forward and down, left arm stretches up to the sky. So you're trying to stack your left shoulder over your right one. And see if you can really challenge yourself by looking up at your thumb. Now here we go. We're going to come into our half moon pose. Bring your left hand to your hip. Look down at the mat to help with stability. Bend into that front knee, and you can bring, I'm just going to move my front foot back here so I'm not in my plants. Your right hand is a couple inches, about 6 inches in front of your right foot, and then you're going to kick off, lifting the back leg. So I'm trying to roll my left hip back, I'm trying to roll my left shoulder back, and then eventually also lifting that left arm up. And look wherever is appropriate to you here. Maybe adding your bind for your sugar cane pose as you bend into that top knee, grabbing a hold of the foot and pushing, kicking the foot into the hand to lift the thigh up. We are not done. We're adding the biggest challenge yet. We're going to try to come into dancer's pose from here. So keep the hold of your foot very slowly. Try to lift yourself up. You might need to change the hold, so you're holding your foot to the inside. Right arm stretches out in front of you, and go ahead and kick that leg up. There's really no other transition that's going to force you to focus more than that one. Big breath in here. And go ahead and release, shake it out. Don't know about you, I'm feeling it a lot in that supporting leg. Let's take our flow. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift. And find your vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, urdhva mukha svanasana, adho mukha svanasana. Back in our downward facing dog. Stretching it out. And we're ready to do this on the other side. Left leg rises, keep it straight and squared for warrior two. Left foot steps forward. Back heel comes in and pushes down. And I want you to really feel like your front heel is aligned to the middle of your back arch and your knee is tracking over that second and third toe. As you inhale, you're going to straighten that front leg, arms up and look up. Exhale, sink down. 4 more like this. Two more. Inhale up and exhale. Last one. Warrior two. Squeezing that knee open. And go ahead and straighten that front leg. Shorten your stance a little bit so you can set yourself up for your triangle pose. Hips go back. Left arm reaches forward and down. Right arm goes up. See if you can look up at your thumb. Now looking down at the mat, we're transitioning to half moon pose. You can bring your right hand to your hip, bend into your front knee, and lower your left fingertips somewhere in front of that left foot. Push off of the right leg to lift it up, and maybe extend your right arm up as well. And I know it's really hard, but try not to dig your toes into the mat. Adding your bind for sugar cane, you're bending your right knee, grabbing a hold of that right foot, lifting it up. And you know what's coming, you're better prepared now. We're coming from here into our dancer's pose. So look down at the ground, take your time, come on up. No big deal if you fall out. You can switch the grasp so you're holding on to the inside edge of your foot rather than the outside. Left arm goes forward, kicking and lifting that back leg up. So I'm not tilting my chest forward here, I'm staying nice and tall. And release, shake it out. One more vinyasa, our last one. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway lift. Take your flow. And this is our last downward facing dog. We'll start to slow things down. And go ahead and drop your knees towards the mat. And we're just gonna lay down on our backs from here. We'll be setting ourselves up into shoulder stand and plow pose. Another great inversion, which can really support us. So as you lower down, you can kind of shrug your shoulders underneath you slightly, and then you're going to be lifting your hips up and supporting, propping yourself up with your hands towards your lower back. And lifting your legs up. Try to relax your jaw. Most of the weight is in your shoulders and in your upper back, not in your neck, not on your head. And if you'd like, you can transition to your plow pose. So your legs go back behind you, and you can flatten your arms to the ground, keeping your hips up. And I like to support my lower back and my hips to come out of this one. Do it really slowly so that you don't slingshot back up with your neck and your head. Just very delicately let your spine and your hips come back in contact with the mat, hugging your knees towards your chest. Let's take a hip opener from here. We can take our reclined pigeon pose. Cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee and pull that thigh in. Notice if you're leaning on one side more than the other. Keep your head and shoulders on the mat so you're not curling up. Really not using more effort than is necessary. Trying to slow everything down. And you can keep this figure 4 shape. We're going to take a deeper stretch for the IT band and also including a twist. So you can just let your left foot come back flat to the floor, and you're going to rotate those legs over to the left. So let your left thigh come down and your right foot can make contact with the floor as well. I like to reach my right arm out to the side, and maybe you're holding onto your ankle, or what I like to do is to use my left hand and push my knee away from me. So I'm getting a nice opening into the outer right hip. Slow, steady breath all the way down into your belly. Really starting to observe and notice the effects of your practice on your mental state. And let's release, come back through to center, uncross your legs, and we'll take our reclined pigeon on the second side. So your left ankle crosses over the top of your right knee, and you can pull that right thigh in. Squeeze that leg in a little closer. And we'll keep this bind and this cross of the legs. Just let your right foot come back flat to the floor. And you're going to drop your right thigh over until your left foot also grounds down to the mat. Reach your left arm out to the side and either keep the hold of your ankle or use your right hand to push your thigh away from you. And let's release. Coming into Shavasana, our last pose here together. Straighten your arms and your legs, palms facing up to the sky. Once again, closing your eyes so that you're turning inwards, not rushing to the next thing, but really staying present maintaining this deep connection that you've cultivated throughout this class. And just let yourself rest here for a few minutes, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Bring some energy back into your body. Refocusing here with a little bit of movement and a great big stretch as you extend your arms up overhead. And rolling to one side, let's come up and take a seat. Sitting up tall. And just notice the space you've created. And the changes that you've made. Hands join at the heart. Let's close by chanting Om. Inhale to chant, breathe in. Bowing forward. Thank you so very much for doing this Diamond Mind mental clarity yoga practice with me. I am really curious to know how this one landed with you guys, what you thought about it. I know it was really challenging, especially for those tricky balancing transitions, but hopefully it really helped to give you that boost of focus and clarity that you needed. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and hopefully I will practice again with you very soon.